You mentioned this phrase, Islam is a religion of peace.
Yeah.
And whenever there's a terrorist attack
Yeah.
by Islamists and jihadis in this country or anywhere else in Europe, that seems to always be the line. Islam's a religion of peace. You can't talk about it. Even open-minded people like us who want to understand where different people are coming from and are not blaming whole groups of people for certain things, you can't say that. Particularly as a white person, you can't say that. But even as you said yourself, as someone who's from Iran, was brought up as a Muslim, saying Islam is not a religion of peace, which I imagine you believe, it's impossible. So can you just talk to us about why you don't think Islam is a religion of peace?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think any religion is a religion of peace. I mean, religion is based on, murdering anyone who is a heretic, an apostate. You've got the Spanish Inquisitions, we've got historical examples, we've got present-day examples. And the Islamic movement has power in many countries. They're actually crucifying people in the street, hanging people off of cranes for apostasy, for blasphemy, for being gay. They're stoning people to death in the street. So, it's not a hypothetical discussion to say that Islam or any religion is not peaceful. I think religion actually is, the antithesis of peace and justice. And in fact, it's funny because they always talk about religious morality, but really it's immorality from an ethical point of view. So many of, just to give you an example, in Islam, it's immoral to have sex outside of marriage. So you have sex with someone you love, but it's perfectly fine to have child marriage, which is pedophilia and child rape. It's not possible to hold hands with your partner, someone you love, on the street, because that's considered sexual mixing. But it's perfectly fine to specify the size of stone to stone someone to death for having an adulterous relationship or for being a homosexual. It's perfectly fine to throw someone off a building because they're gay. But, it's haram to eat during Ramadan. I mean, it's just the unethical nature of all religious precepts, I think, is clear. I mean, I think the problem is because religion is treated with such kid gloves, and there's so much respect for something that is so not worthy of any respect, And so I know you don't look very happy. Sorry.
No.
It's just his face.
That's my face.
Because I get that a lot when I'm speaking to people.
Francis probably agrees with you even more than I do on this issue.
So I think, so saying Islam is a religion of peace is just, it's nonsense. It's not true by any measure. You just have to, they'll say, and let me say this, my dad, who's a Muslim, is the loveliest, kindest person in the world. He wouldn't hurt a fly. So again, I'm not saying that Muslims are like that, or Christians are like what the Bible says, or Jews are like what the Torah says. In the Torah, for example, men pray thanking God that they weren't born women. There's so many examples of that in all religions. So, because I think people are better than their religions, because people change according and adapt according to the age that they live in, and books really remain the same. And that's why interpretation is such a big thing, because people do interpret things the way they want. But I think Islam is not at all peaceful. And I understand why people say it, because they don't want Muslims to be targeted, and rightfully so. Now in Sri Lanka, after the attack on the church, Muslims are being dragged out of their homes, their shops are being burnt down. They haven't done anything, and we've got lots of ex-Muslims who've had to flee the city because, of course, they're also considered Muslims, and they've lost their homes, they're homeless. So again, you can understand why people say that, but I think that's going about it the wrong way, because, everybody knows that's not true. And you're just helping to not discuss the truth, and you're sort of making Muslims a target by not saying the truth about things, And I think that's where we need to be very clear. Target beliefs, target religious right movements, never ever is targeting people permissible in any circumstance.